Getting set for first pitch here at Hall of Fame Stadium. Elimination games tonight. And this is how it went down in Tuscaloosa last year in the regional. Alabama had been to the Super Regionals all 16 years of its existence. And that came to an end last year at the hands of Alana Vawter. The two pitchers threw in all three of the games head-to-head in the regional. They were all shutouts. And it was Vawter 2-1 over Fouts. As we check out tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. And Stanford, the visitors, Ali Kaneshiro. Last year, in the deciding game of the regionals, she came up big with 3 runs batted in. And so far in this NCAA tournament, 7 she has brought home for the Cardinal. They were held off the board by Jordy Ball in Oklahoma yesterday. They'll need to try and change that tonight against Montana Fouts.
Now, Montana Fouts will be a little bit different look than the Montana Fouts of last year. You can see the way that brace is really limiting the extension of that left leg, the land leg.
The last time that we saw Montana here, of course, she was throwing a perfect game a couple of years ago to beat UCLA here at the World Series. And those are the numbers for her this season. Only Kat Sandercock has more wins. She picked up her 27th yesterday than any of the other pitchers that are here.
This is a new injury, so it's only been a couple weeks, so Montana's really had to do a lot of rehab, but figure out how to throw at that shorter stride, a little less velocity, more spin speed than pitch speed.
And she said, I learned there's more tools in my toolbox than velocity. And most pitchers know that, but she had to learn it quick and realize, I'm going to trust my movement. Shoot, 68 ain't bad either.
No, exactly, especially when you're getting out to that 8-foot circle.
That's fouled out of play by Gindelsberger. Grad student out of Chandler, Arizona. There are 6 grad students and seniors that have been a huge part of this Stanford program the last few years. The first group that Jessica Allister brought in, and they bought in. They've been in the tournament every year. This is their deepest run.
I think a big part of this group, including the senior Taylor Gindelsberger, remembers last year getting to that super regional, of course upsetting Alabama, but then losing to Oregon State at home.
We'll keep an eye too on a warm night here in Oklahoma City. I think, guys, this would be the 4th game, right, that she has worn the brace, actual game time activity, since she heard it in the SEC tournament. And Gindelsberger off the glove of Cahalan, and on the ricochet, Taylor's going to try for 2, and she'll slide in safely.
It was clear that Montana Fouts was going to go away to Taylor Gindelsberger. She tried to bunt the first pitch, and after that just fouled off kind of everything else that was middle to away till she got this one, something a little bit more elevated on the outer half. You see the reach there from the freshman Cahalan. Almost gets to this, but because she ricochets it, Gindelsberger, the fast base runner that she is, gets to second base.
So immediately a runner in scoring position for Emily Young. Another grad student out of Mason, Ohio. Trying to drop down the bunt. She pops it right up to Montana, but nobody there at second. One away.
Well, Montana Fouts dealing with that injury. You can see the way that before the injury, she's 70 miles an hour with a good curveball, rise ball, and she lived up in there. Since the injury, she's been a little bit lower velocity, but more movement. And you can see the stride on the left-hand side. Before the injury, she's out beyond the 8-foot circle. Since the injury, she's in front of that 8-foot circle. So not being able to extend that left leg out. She's a little bit shorter.
And she's really having a problem right now with the brace, Michelle.
Yeah, it looks like it's continuing to slide down her leg, and that brace is there to keep her from extending or hyperextending that leg when it lands down. Foot lands. It's really actually incredible what she's been doing over these last couple weeks since that injury. She was not available for regionals. She was available for super regionals. trying to extend her career. She really has been the heart and soul of this team. So much emotion.
Facing Kanashiro, who knocked in 3 RBI off of Montana in last year's tournament. She checks the runner, goes to first for the out. And it appeared they had the runner hung up between second and third.
Well, this is a comebacker to Montana Fouts. She turns back to look at Taylor, but I think in this situation, she's probably not comfortable being able to turn. So I take that more as, yeah, I see you. I don't know how quickly I can make that turn on my feet. I'm set up to throw to first. I'm going to take the out and try and deal with the hitter with 2 outs.
That's smart. We've seen her on when she's had to really move laterally, not be able to rely on a lot of pressure on that knee. Smart to not even try.
This is Kylie Chung, the sophomore from Thousand Oaks, California. Hot shot to second. Hedlund stays down on it, side retired. A double for Gindelsberger, and she is left out there. Bama picking up the bats when we come back. Sunny, warm evening in Oklahoma City for the first game of our doubleheader here at the Women's College World Series. The starting lineups presented by Capital One. And this is how the Crimson Tide will line it up, with Prangy and Johnson at the top, followed by Kenley Cahalan. And in the first game yesterday against Tennessee, Kenley went 2 for 3 and drove in 3. As Bama fell behind early, but then the bats made a little bit of noise. Let's see if there's some momentum from that, even out of the loss, that they can carry over into today. It is win or go home for the Tide and the Cardinal. And so Stanford puts the ball in the hands of their senior All-American Alana Vawter out of Kansas City. Top 5 in Stanford history in wins, strikeouts, and shutouts. And a 20-game winner this season. Making a great 1-2 punch with NiJaree Canady, the National Freshman of the Year.
You see a lot of drops, a lot of downs on. She's got really good late movement. It's a ton of ground balls. As they hit a fly ball.
Prangy out to center field, and Gindelsberger with a fabulous catch. 1 down.
Great read. I mean, that's the biggest thing on this one, because it's off the very end of the bat. So you have to read this thing initially. You see Gindelsberger coming in, and then she just lets it out. It's a perfect ball to dive for, because it's coming straight down. Even if you don't make this catch, it's not going to go very far. Talk about a way to lead off the game for your pitcher, Alana Vawter. All smiles.
Hit a double, and now stealing a double out there in center field. There's Jenna Johnson. Senior out of Franklin, Tennessee. Had a big home run that ended up being the game winner in Game 3 of the Super Regionals against Northwestern. They were pushed to the limit in both the regionals and the supers to get here as a surprise 5 seed on Selection Sunday. But they got through it to advance here to the World Series for the 14th time. Winners of the national championship in 2012 for Patrick Murphy. A couple of years later, they were back in the Champ Series. Those fabulous teams that featured the likes of the J-Train, Jackie Traina, and one of our cohorts here at ESPN, Caleb Rowe. He's had some success. He knows how to beat the Pac-12. How about that? Here at the World Series, Bama has won their last 10 games. The last loss was Arizona State en route to their national championship in 2008.
I was going to say, they were pretty good back then. ASU was. Winning back-to-back natties.
So let's see if they can make it 11 in a row over the Pac-12 here. That was a glimpse, by the way, of NiJaree Canady going out to the bullpen.
I think you expect to see both pitchers in this game. Not that you would see Nija anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think the expectation is for them to play off each other. We talked a lot about Vawter in the drop, NiJaree with the rise.
They're just a great mix together. Foul. What I love about Vawter is that she's only got 28 walks on the year. She doesn't hit batters, so if you're getting on, you have to earn it. She's given up 170 hits in those 180 innings that she's pitched. So she does a great job of making her opponents beat her station to station.
There's her batted ball profile, plenty on the deck.
This game is going to come down to defense. We're going to see contact.
3-2 pitch to Johnson. Waits on the change.
Something off that. And that's going to be an important pitch for her, especially because she can throw it in any count. 3-2 count, it'll still show up. And the better she throws that changeup, the more she'll get chases or swing and misses in the lower half of the zone, chasing that drop ball below the knee.
She's 3-0 so far in the postseason. Got her feet wet here at the World Series with an inning of work against Oklahoma yesterday, coming on in relief. Through 22 pitches. Johnson puts this one in play, floats it out to right. And Caitlin Lim is there, 2 out.
Take a look at Vawter and exactly how she gets it done. It's this drop ball, really good over the top rotation. She'll throw it on both corners, but look at the way that this ball spins. That is really good rotation. 12 to 6 o'clock or 6 to 12, so it's over the top. Very pure. A lot of pitchers cannot do that. I mean, when you look at that sort of spin, that's elite spin coming right out, thumb toward target, rolling off those fingertips.
It's such a cool look, too. Yeah. I just love when we can show the spin, because it's something as a hitter, you see that spin, but you don't understand what it's going to do when you decide to swing. It becomes a strike to a ball.
This maturity of hitters learning to read that spin.
This is Kenley Cahalan, who started out her career at Alabama a year early, and then she started out her career with a 14-game hit streak.
Cahalan all the way in the back of the box, as far back as you can possibly be, that back foot, because of the drop. Well, that tells me I don't want to swing at the one that's not a strike. I want to be able to get it when it starts to break and tell myself not to swing at it.
Yeah, so anything low at the knee, she's going to try to lay off of. She's looking for something a little bit more high thigh, belt high.
Also on the plate a little bit, too.
Sends that the opposite way, and back on the grass to make the catch is Emily Young. So, of course, the drop ball pitcher gets 3 flyouts to start the game. And we are scoreless through 1.
It's not just outfielders with a good drop step. Emily Young, a nice job going back, making the grab. 3rd out of the inning for the Cardinal.
For Montana Fouts, dealing with this injury late in her senior season could be filled with disappointment, but instead, they're focused on another young lady who's in the fight for her life. Friend of the program's little girl, Madeline Daigle, is battling kidney cancer right now. And Madeline, when she found out Montana got hurt, had this to tell her.
Hey, Montana, we're keeping you in our prayers, and hope you're back out there pitching soon.
Hey Madeline, thank you for your prayers. You're fighting really, really hard, and I'm fighting for you too. So I just want to tell you I'm praying for you, and your prayers are really working. So thank you. Watch this.
It just puts life into real perspective that this is sports. Other people are battling for lives, and we just want to say thank you to Madeline. She has been such an inspiration for all of us, from her custom cleat she designed for third baseman Ashley Prangy to shouting out for Montana. They have been very inspired by this young lady and her fight and zest for life.
Yeah, great story about Montana. Patrick Murphy says perhaps the greatest ambassador of Alabama softball. And really beyond that, it's one of the big benefits, I think, of all the the greater attention and the greater media access and availability and more fans watching on television is the impact that these female athletes can have on youngsters' lives. And obviously for somebody like Montana, with a huge social media following, and the fans just flock to see her at the Rhodes House and on the road. And it's happening, you know, in women's softball, in basketball, gymnastics, so many of these other opportunities opening up for a lot of women to be inspirational as well as aspirational.
Yeah, but it's so great when you get an amazing person that gets that much attention, because Montana Fouts, she's getting it because of the accolades, of course, and the achievements, but if all these little girls are going to be looking, you want them to be looking at someone like Montana Fouts.
She is a good human being, just so caring, compassionate. She's got some fire in her when she's in that circle.
Well, when she needs it. 5, 6, and 7 here for Stanford. Emily Schultz also choosing to stay way back in that batter's box. 298 on the season for Emily. It's not a Stanford team that has relied a whole lot on the long ball, just 24 as a team. By comparison, Oklahoma has almost matched that in their 6 postseason.
Kiki Malloy
has more. Yeah.
Base hit, Schultz. This is how they choose to beat you right here. Cobbled together, base knocks.
This is 2 strikes. Look at this 2-strike pitch. This is not by any means a pitch that you should be hitting into the outfield. Look at the location below. I mean, this is ankles. Go down, battle yourself, half swing, just find a way to get on base. Great job from Emily Schultz with 2 strikes.
Here's Caitlin Lim. Stanford, a couple of hits already through the first couple of innings. Had a runner in scoring position in the first, could not get Gindelsberger home from third base. Lim, another one of the seniors from Irvine, California, drops down the sacrifice, one away. Schultz to second.
It's a really good job by Broadfoot to go get that bunt. So Alabama having to play a traditional defense where the corners are going to have to go get anything short. Hevlin, the second baseman, is going to have to cover first base.
Inside corner for a strike. Stanford, their runners in scoring position, really good in the supers. 0 for so far at the Women's College World Series. Opposite way, looking for the gap, and she'll find it. And Stanford will strike on the RBI double for Sydney Steele.
72nd double of the year for Stanford. This is how they get it done. They are gap to gap. They might not send it over the wall, but they'll send it to the wall in the gap. And this is how they work. This is a pitch that's a little bit sweet, and she's just going to take it. So Steele just seeing a pitch that's leaped back into the strike zone on the outer half is going to punch it into the gap, and it's just not within the reach of Larissa Pruitt, the right fielder. Nice attempt, but the Card are on the board.
Here's Ellie Eck, 8th spot in the lineup.
It just shows how important that sacrifice bunt was by Caitlin Lim.
Oh. So already a couple of extra base hits for the Card and a 1-0 lead. Got activity out in the Alabama bullpen. That's Lauren Essman. Lauren threw a couple of innings yesterday in the Tennessee game. In fact, Alabama threw their other 3 pitchers yesterday. Torrance has already limbered up. She was out there pregame.
Ball.
inside the line. So the Cardinal under 6th-year head coach Jessica Allister, who, by the way, has had a hand in every World Series trip. Twice as a player, and now back at her alma mater, bringing him here as the head coach. Get out of play. We got 3 Pac-12 teams here, Jess, that all have ties to home.
Yeah, take out Amy Hogue, Utah, Heather Tarr, Washington. And I love this one of Jessica Allister. We called her Al when she played with 3 Jessicas on the team. Baby Al right there. And her pitching coach, Tori Nyberg, a part of that 2001 team. So 2 teammates coming together.
That called strike 3. 2 down.
Fouts working inside and outside, really doing a good job setting up on the outside to come back on the inner half. This is a drop ball that she just paints on the corner. Picks up her first strikeout of the game. That's number 350 on the year. That strikeout looking.
1,000 career strikeouts, 100 career wins for Montana. Has put up some big numbers. Had the perfect game here at the World Series a couple years ago. And this is River Mailer. Yesterday, River was the leadoff. They've switched her to the 9 spot today.
And she's been at the top of the lineup most of the season. Very powerful freshman. You look at the numbers, 360 batting average. She had 3 strikeouts against Jordy Ball in Oklahoma, and Jessica Allister decided to move her down in the lineup. I also think part of it, though, is because the lack of production at the bottom of the lineup. So putting one of their better hitters at the bottom to get their best hitter in Taylor Gindelsberger, who's on deck.
1-2.
Ball.
Here's the freshman out of Monroe, Washington, an all Pac-12 performer, as well as on the all defensive team this year in the Pac. And a called strike 3, so a couple back-to-back looking for Montana Fouts, but a run in for Stanford to take the lead.
Montana Fouts, so much energy and emotion, really doing all she can with that leg injury, painting the corners, working the outside corner, gets the strikeout with the screwball. 2 Ks looking for Fouts.
Well, on the right is the current day Allie Shipman playing for Alabama. On the left is Allie with her big sister Madison, who was an All-American at Tennessee, who also played here at the Women's College World Series. Let's take you back 10 years. Pow! In the finals, a home run. And of course, that home run ball goes to Dad, and look who's standing right next to him. There is the younger Allie 10 years ago, as Bill proudly displays the ball. Great shot. Madison, who was supposed to be somewhere else this weekend, was able to make it here. And of course, working in our studio, and she was able to surprise Allie.
That's awesome.
So there is family on hand to watch the younger Shipman.
Ball.
And now Allie will open up this second inning down a run as these 2 teams fight to stretch their season out until Sunday. The winner here gets tomorrow off and is back for another elimination game on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm good.
Allie, who started out her career at Tennessee, was there for 3 years, and now the last 2 with Alabama. It was a bit of a tough go, both with COVID and an injury at Tennessee, and so when she was looking for a fresh start, Alabama was a place she wanted to try. She said it was also a dream to be able to play and to catch for Montana Fouts, which she has been able to do the last 2 years. So they are teaming up again tonight. course, faced her old teammates yesterday. Tennessee a 10-5 winner. They are in the winner's bracket tomorrow afternoon on ABC at 3 Eastern against Oklahoma.
Ball.
Full count.
Allie just one of 3 hitters on the team that are hitting over 300, but when you think about Allie Shipman, she's a really good pitcher's catcher, defensive catcher. Love the way that she has that relationship with her pitching staff.
Nice job battling that off, too.
Holly?
Well, when we were meeting with Allie, she had some disappointment in her voice because all of her siblings were going to be busy this weekend, unable to be here. But there was a special surprise. She did not know it, but her sister, Maddie, was here. She went in, surprised her at their team meeting, and you see the tears. So happy that her role model and big sis who played on this field is here to watch her play. So.
Slow roller to short. Emily Young over to first, 1 down. There's a wide shot. First game of our doubleheader here from Hall of Fame Stadium. And a 1-0 lead for Stanford. Coming up next, Oklahoma State and Utah. Utes, because of some weather issues yesterday, actually had to play their opening round game this morning. They lost to Washington, so they have to come right back tonight. This is Bailey Dowling.
It'll be interesting to see how the Utes use their pitching staff. Mariah Lopez has been their ace through this postseason, but she threw this morning.
Over 100 pitches?
Yeah.
And how does Oklahoma State respond? They got run ruled by Florida State last night. They had to literally weather the storm. There was an hour and 46-minute delay in game. That was after an hour 14-minute delay pregame. They started ace Kelly Maxwell, but did not bring her back after the weather delay, and that's when Florida State started to open things up. And Dowling looking for some new lumber.
She didn't even swing yet. Or make contact. Yeah. Must be a feel thing.
One for 3 against Tennessee yesterday for Bailey.
Let me see it.
Here's how our Women's College World Series bracket is shaping up. So the elimination games tonight, the winners bracket games tomorrow. OU Tennessee and Florida State Washington. That is our bracket update brought to you by Enterprise.
Bailey Dowling just barely got a piece of that changeup. 2 strikes, Vawter going to that pitch actually quite a bit this inning.
Dowling, that one's chopped to Young. Oh, and it gets away from Emily Schultz. 1 out base runner on the miscue from Stanford.
We talked about this game's going to come down to defense because there's going to be a lot of contact, a lot of ground balls, and Emily Young just makes this throw wide. Of course, Emily Schultz right there in the glove. Might give it an E6.
Yeah, they're going to give that to the shortstop. But as a first baseman myself, that's a catchable ball. You have to catch that. If you can keep your foot on the bag and it still touches your glove, you have to be able to make that catch.
All right, can Emma Broadfoot and the Tide cash in here? Junior out of Danville, Alabama. Emma started out at North Alabama, transferred in, always wanted to play for the Crimson Tide.
Ball.
She is one of 8 newcomers for Pat Murphy this year after 8 players graduated or left the program. So a ton of turnover. And fighting through the adversity, fighting through the Fouts issue, he the other day called it the most gratifying season of his career. Young will try again. This time gets it right. 2 down. He said, sometimes, and I quote, you gotta go through the crap to get to the good stuff. And Oklahoma City's the good stuff. For the 14th time, Roll Tide roll for Murph. Callie Hevlin, one of the newcomers to the starting lineup this season. Benefited greatly from playing to that recent addition at Florida Summer League, where she tried to hone her craft in the offseason.
Florida Gulf Coast Softball League.
Oh, and there's a shot, but right at Schultz. So Stanford's defense able to clean it up. 2 complete, 1-0 card.
Emily Schultz in the perfect position, making sure she's covering that line, getting out of the jam. Stanford picking up the bats with a 1-0 lead.
Let's send it over to Holly.
Well, Sis Bates, the former Washington shortstop who is such a huge star in softball, she will also be playing in Athletes Unlimited. She was here watching her Huskies earlier today.
Foul ball.
And I talked to her about Athletes Unlimited. She's still playing at a very high level. They report next week to start training. And if you haven't been to an Athletes Unlimited game, it is phenomenal. Every player that you grew up loving watching in the Women's College World Series is playing on the same field. So really cool opportunity. And I love that these women are still getting an opportunity to play post-college.
They just signed Megan Faramo, too, a couple days ago, so she'll be added onto that roster.
That's awesome. That'll be a lot of fun, too, around Little League softball.
Yeah.
Coming up in August. And their season will get underway shortly after we conclude here. Championship Series starts next Wednesday, Thursday, and if necessary on Friday of next week. We have never had a rematch, by the way, in the Championship Series, and that will continue this year. Last time the same 2 teams met 2 years in a row. UCLA Cal, 2003-2004, the year before the Champ Series began.
Pretty impressive that you know all that it's the Bible. It's all in
Off the top of my head.
God's computer, as you call it.
Important to remember our history. There's a full count. Fouts and Gindelsberger back to the top of the order for Stanford. Deep in the hole, Cahalan fires, and a stretch at first by Broadfoot, 1 down.
This is a great play by Cahalan, the freshman shortstop, because you got to understand the speed of Taylor Gindelsberger, where she positions this ball, how she has to go to her right. And you can see she's already cheating the 5-6 hole and gets rid of it quickly. So it's the velocity she gets on this, but also the fact that she gets rid of it quick enough to barely get out Taylor at first.
Great stretch, too, from Broadfoot.
Yeah.
Fist pump from Tana, as they call her in Tuscaloosa.
And especially because Taylor runs well and she's left-handed. I mean, that's a bam-bam play because of Taylor being from the left side.
Holly?
Well, Cahalan should be in high school right now. Her graduation class is graduating from Hewitt High School in Trussville, Alabama this weekend. But she enrolled early. Here she is. She was a 17-year-old when she got to Bama, and here she is making plays at the World Series instead of going through her high school graduation.
All the players they lost last year needed.
Graduated or transferred.
Yep. Needed her to come in, and she has made an impact.
Oh. Well, you know, when Pat Murphy says she's got the fire in her belly like Kelly Crutchman used to, one of the first great superstars at Alabama, That's saying something. And hey, kid, we know you're 17. Why don't you just come on in and play shortstop for us here in the SEC?
Yeah, it's
See how that goes.
One thing to come in and then to have to play shortstop position where you're being moved, positioning, all this stuff going on, but also for her swing to be compared to Kelly Kretschmann, that's a pretty big honor.
Former Alabama Miss Softball. She moved over from third base in high school. Well, you know, too, I mean, they were saying all the right things when we spoke to them this week, and even Pat Murphy said, you know what, it's not, you know, a kind of win one for the Gipper situation. You know, it's Montana Fouts on all their minds to try and help her in what might be her final appearance get another day, get all of them another day. Stanford, of course, has other plans, and they've got a hit in each of the first 3 innings. As Fouts continues to fight through that leg injury to try and extend it to another day.
Well, I think the thing that Stanford's been doing so well against Montana is working her deep into counts.
This is Ali Kaneshiro. The next pitch will be number 50 for Fouts. Ali grounded back to the circle her first time up. Oh, and 2.
Ali Kaneshiro. We've seen Stanford's offensive numbers just get better in the postseason. And talked a lot about they're not known for the long ball, but they definitely execute, and they did against Florida in the regionals.
Boy, they chomped on the SEC's Gators in the regional to advance, and then won on the road at Duke in the Supers to get here.
Especially when one of the games they had to get up and play, it was a 9 a.m. Eastern start, so they were up.
That's 6 a.m. Stanford time.
Start, that's the start. Getting out of bed, eating breakfast. They were up, I think it was at 3:30 Pacific, if not earlier.
They're at Stanford, people. They're go-getters. They attack the day.
Not at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Well, they were averaging 4 runs a game in the regular season, 6 runs a game through the first 2 weeks of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and that's significant, especially when you start thinking about the arms that you're facing. You know, the value of the pitching goes up as you get deeper into the postseason. And you know, this is where they've been productive. They're at 259 RISP in season. They're at 311 RISP in the NCAA tournament, and you know, 3 of their 4 hits have been with 2 strikes. So that's all situational hitting. And when you can hit well situationally in the postseason, you typically win games.
They're also very comfortable in close games because they've played a ton of them.
Like old school softball, right? Yep. And that's good for pitchers because that's pitching under pressure with a 1-run lead, or you know, in a situation where you can't make a mistake, and it forces you as a pitcher to have to be super dialed in. As well as your defense behind you. You know, that's the other thing. So important. Which on the year, now granted they made an error in this game, but the defense for Stanford coming into today's game, just 38 errors. That's not bad. Alabama's at 53 errors coming into today's game.
They are working some counts. What is that, 3 straight full counts?
Well, and you got to remember, too, that pitch count's important for Montana Fouts.
Absolutely.
Fly ball out to right center, and calling it off at the last minute is Pruitt. 2 down. And now a conversation here as Lance McMahon comes out to talk with Montana Fouts. We will remind you that Sunday Night Baseball features the Yankees and the Dodgers this weekend. Sunday, 7 Eastern. That'll be the last game of the series. Coverage starts with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown at 6 o'clock.
Kershaw and Severino going head-to-head tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
I can smell it, even though
Here we go with
through the TV, I can smell it.
one of my favorites.
Power of the brain.
It's the best. It's like the best, like, you don't need to market it. Just
Is kettle corn brain food? Is that what you said? I think it is.
Superfood.
Well, superfood.
Super taste bud food.
I know. So many vitamins.
Kylie Chung.
Ball, it's in.
Well, you heard the home plate umpire Dustin Douglas say that one was in. He's with Mike Burwell, Tracy Laycock, and Don Brown tonight. Coming our way, Jess.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it's our way, but it's like 40 feet short.
Once again,
They're both
the
reaching.
outfielder, I mean,
Look where the ball is.
Well, now it's rolling down. Come on. Come on.
no, look
No.
at those. By the way, both Smitty and I,
so
thank you very much. Our
close.
first steps were back, Mendoza.
It wasn't close. You guys are cute, though. I like you guys.
It's a hope. I want the hope. What are the
Okay.
odds that you're going to get one?
Well, we're going to get one now.
Now that one's not close, and that one might be playable. And a nice snag next to our camera people down there. Emma Broadfoot gloves it. A runner left stranded. 1-0 Stanford. That's why she's got the glove down there, and we don't have the gloves up here. Arizona back in the 90s won 4 of 5. Back in the days when the Bruins and the Wildcats were the dominant forces, the Pac-12 ruled the roost. They won 23 of the first 30 national championships, but in the last decade, the game has spread out, and the Pac-12 has one title in the last 10 years. The UCLA Bruins got that one. With Rachel Garcia in 2019. Alabama and Florida led an SEC revolt for a few years there. Won 3 in 4 years.
It was a revolt.
Yeah.
And then the Sooners grabbed control and took the reins of the schooner. And they've been riding it ever since. Beat Florida State 2 years ago. They beat Texas last year in the finals. There you go. 23 times. It's 5 different schools: UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, Washington, Cal. All champs.
The parity started to set in the last 10 years.
Well, how about this, as a matter of fact, Michelle? You know, both the SEC and the Pac-12, on one occasion, sent 5 teams here to the World Series. But in the last 2 years, the SEC and the Pac-12, bupkis in the Champ Series.
Yeah. It's because the Big 12 has dominated as of late with obviously Oklahoma.
They had 3 of the Final 4 last year. Ground ball to short. Young's been busy there.
Usually are. Vawter on the mound.
Well, since we've been talking about it, let's preview it for you. The championship series, the finals will begin. Best 2 out of 3 next Wednesday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Got some work to do before we get there. Losers bracket doubleheader tonight, so we start sending teams home. One of these 2 will be done, and coming up next, Oklahoma State and Utah. Of course, we are also getting ready in a couple years' time, guys, from UCLA leaving the Pac-12 to go to the Big Ten, and both Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 to go to the SEC. So the landscape is about to shift again.
Foul.
Well, that'll be interesting on that actually happens. I mean, think about the SEC tournament. It's going to be like a mini Women's College World Series before the Women's College World Series. It already kind of feels like that, but with those two clubs entering. Ooh.
Here's Kristen White, number 9 hitter, and then back to the top of the order with one out here in the bottom of the third. Bama still searching for its first hit off of Alana Vawter.
You guys didn't want to get that one? So close.
I'm gonna let that one go.
Need the extension pulled to
There you
try to
see
grab
us up
that
there. Hello, everybody.
These ladies. Love them.
She didn't get the pink memo today.
No,
It's okay. Not holding it against her.
It's only got to keep us real.
Yep.
Got her to chase it. And the first strikeout for Vawter tonight, 2 down.
Vawter's been so good at rallying ground balls. This is a drop ball in the outer half, and it kind of starting to cut away from White. She's going to whip through it. Really good job of getting over the top of this pitch. And you can see how it almost starts to climb up midway through as it starts to then work its way down. So it fools you as a hitter into thinking it's going to be above the knee when it ends up below the knee.
Smitty, I love because when people think softball, and honestly, I feel like every pitcher that's learning how to pitch in softball, they just want to learn the rise ball. It's like the pitch that everyone knows. It's what differentiates softball from baseball. So I love it when we see old school, a great drop ball pitcher that trusts that movement down in the zone.
Well, when parents ask me, or I'm working with really young pitchers, always, you know, they're always, what's the first pitch I should learn? And everyone does want to learn the rise ball, but I'm like, the first pitch you should learn should be the drop ball and the changeup, because those two pitches, the drop ball is much easier to learn than the rise ball, and then obviously mix some speeds is going to be so important as well.
Well.
Top of the order now, and Ashley Prangy. For most of the season, Ashley was the muscle in the middle of the order, but with that good batting average over the course of the season, they moved her up top so she would get more at-bats. And there she goes, drilling it back up the middle for the Tide's first hit of the night.
See the smiles of Prangy. So it's a frustration for Alabama, and gets a good pitch right there. And tell you what, when you get a drop ball that's elevated, it doesn't have that late tight movement. And what I like about Prangy's approach there is line drive up the middle. That's all you can really do with a pitcher that's throwing everything down.
Well, Vawter just does a good job of keeping the ball in the park, of, you know, limiting damage. And she's got a whip barely above 1, so she's just tough to score on for all those reasons.
There's Jenna Johnson. Flew out to right back in the first inning. Second base runner of the night for Alabama. And they'll move her over into scoring position on the wild pitch.
Canady loses this. I mean, it's down in the zone, but watch her try to backhand it, and then she can't find it. She closes her eyes when she sees it come up, and then she's got no idea where it's at.
And that's as a catcher, when you're catching and looking at that true drop spin come, you need to let it hit off your chest protector.
Holly?
Well, we told you before about the team inspiration for Alabama, Madeline Daigle, who is at home watching right now. Her dad texted me, these are the special cleats that Madeline designed at St. Jude Children's Hospital for Ashley Prangy. She's allowed to wear them here in the Women's College World Series. They're fire. A lot of the other players on the team are asking for them, so she also designed some for Montana Fouts. And after the SEC tournament, Ashley Prangy, who went yard about every time she got up to bat with that inspiration from Madeline, actually got to go and visit her at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So really special moments on the field, behind the scenes, all of it.
These are
for this
awesome.
Alabama softball team.
Those are so awesome.
So great.
And now can Johnson get those cleats to swing around third and head for home? As we get later into the ball game too, with the leg issue for Montana Fouts, it'll be all hands on deck out beyond the outfield fence. Fouts still has the brace on. She's still looking on, maybe back out there the next inning, but just in case those two are ready to go, they've been loosening up out in the bullpen. Esman on the left, Torrance on the right. In a one-run game.
Oh! Pretty pitch.
47.
Yeah, she blends that so well. And the reason that one was so effective is because it was in the high 40s. Some of her other changeups have been like 52, 53, just a tad bit too fast.
Yesterday in the opening round, 4 of their 5 runs came with 2 outs. Well, heck, it's written on the foul pole back at the Rhodes House, 2 outs, so what? one of their mantras.
Jenna Johnson had 2 hits.
Ball. Nice take. Vawter actually thrown 3 different speeds, so her hard drop is in the mid-60s, off-speed drop at 59, and then that changeup in the low 50s, high 40s.
3-2 pitch. Off of her glove, but to the second baseman Mailer, who gets the out and ends the inning. 3 complete, 1-0. Stanford talking to Pat Murphy when we come back.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One, here with Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. And coach, as we watch Montana Fouts struggle with the knee brace on the injury, how do you describe the will for her to be out here right now?
It's unbelievable. And you know, Holly, you've seen her for 5 years. She is, I've said it before, I'll say it right now. She's the grittiest, most resilient kid I've ever had in the circle. She wants to be out there so dang bad. And I have to give her a shot. I have to give her a shot.
She's earned it. But how long do you let her go? We see her. She's done a good job so far, but how long do you keep her out there?
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed the catcher and our pitching coach, Lance McMahon, goes out. That's not a strategy thing. That's to readjust her brace. And it's not a gamesmanship thing. She had to do it in super regionals, and we try to warn the umpire about it, and he's been really cool about it, but it's more of an injury thing. Hopefully we'll score a run. We need to score a couple to help her out.
Okay, you really danced around it, though. How long do you keep her out there?
We need to score a run, Holly. We need to get a lead, okay. and then we'll see what happens, because I have 100%. There's nobody else I'd rather have out there than her. How about that?
I believe you. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Holly.
Yes, sir.
Well, she truly has been the Tide talisman for the last 5 years out there in the circle. They've had some awfully good ones over the course of the years, including their national championship winner, the J-Train, Jackie Traina. And Fouts back to work. Still down a run. The Tide had a chance in the bottom of the 3rd, could not get it in. 5, 6, and 7. Here's Emily Schultz. Emily singled and scored the lone run back in the 2nd on the RBI double from Sydney Steele.
Ball.
And that has been the difference so far. 4 hits off of Fouts. They've gotten at least 1 in each of the first 3 innings. Kristen White in center. 1 down.
When Patrick Murphy talks about Montana Fouts and everything that she brings to this Alabama program, it really was apparent during this time in early May with the injury when she throws the pitch, and it's soon apparent that she's not going to be able to stay in the game. And I love the way, instead of just walking off the field and and feeling bad for herself, she looks at her teammates and she says, you can do it. She looks at Jayla Turns, who comes in, and Alex Salter, and says, you can do it. We can win this game. Battle for me. Leadership, inspiration. That's what Montana Fouts is, and that's what she represents on and off the field.
She had about, what, 8 seconds, right? Of just, I'm frustrated, that hurt, and then right back to her team.
Yeah.
Out of Grayson, Kentucky. When we talked to her the other day, she said, Bama is a blessing. And I get to play, and that's the positive.
When I was texting with her after the injury, and she just was talking about keeping the face, working hard, just in rehab, just for the opportunity to step on the field one more time and wear that uniform for Alabama.
Holly?
Well, I think when it's all said and done and we find out exactly the extent that she's injured, people are going to be shocked and amazed at what Montana Fouts has gone through to be pitching here in the postseason for her team. She and Dr. Lyle King from Birmingham have been working around the clock, about 8 to 6 hours a day, on personal rehab, strength. You're seeing her do a lot of balance exercises in the dugout right now with their athletic trainer, Essie Adenka, and they're just doing everything, all hands on deck, to make sure she can fight through this injury, because she still is effective as a pitcher. And I just, when it all is said and done and you find out what this injury really is, I think everyone's going to be shocked.
Sydney Steele, who drove in the run for Stanford her first time out. Well, Montana has had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows here. That perfect game a couple of years ago in this circle against UCLA, and then just a couple of days later, the devastating loss in the national semifinals that knocked them out of the tournament. Missed out on Oklahoma City last year, and now the triumphant return.
And this has been a little bit of a roller coaster season for them. There were times where, even with Montana Fouts in the circle, they looked like they were in trouble. I mean, they went to Austin for that series against Texas, and she had to really throw her heart out in order to have the opportunity to win those games. And it was a question. You were worried about the offense, worried about the ability to score runs for her, even when she was healthy.
But that was what was so remarkable is when she came out in the SEC tournament, that championship game, is all of a sudden their offense came to life. I mean, they understood we need to score runs. We don't have this ace that's going to dominate, and they didn't know for how long.
One-two to Steele. 2-2. Sydney's the senior from Poway, California. Her older sister Haley was here with those great Arizona State national championship teams a decade or so ago, winning it in 2008, 2011. And Shipman behind the plate makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the fourth for Montana Fouts. That'll help her pitch count.
Welcome back to NCAA Softball's Women's College World Series, presented by Capital One, here with Stanford coach Alistair. The last time I talked to you on this field, you were actually behind the ditch catching as a player. What is this like to lead your team here, a place that you played in your very self?
That was 100 years ago. It's wonderful. You know, it's great to be here with this group of women and to see how the sport has grown, and just a wonderful atmosphere. It's been phenomenal.
It is. And, you know, your pitching staff's done a great job. Vawter is really shutting them out right now. But I know you said in your press conference that NiJaree's good against the righties with 6 righties in their lineup. How do you manage the rest of this game?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. You know, we got 2 great pitchers. We're going to use them both, and we're going to keep an eye and see how this looks. But NiJaree's available if need be. But, you know, Vawter's throwing a gem, so we're going to keep her out there.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. As we get set to get back to the action, a 1-0 lead for Stanford over Alabama. It is win or go home tonight, as we will send 2 teams back to their campuses. Our field of 8 whittled down to 6 on a quest for a national championship. And this is what went down a moment ago, guys, in the Alabama dugout, in an apparent, hey, come on, everybody. We got to pick up Montana Fouts and get it going, get her a run or 2. as he reported to Holly Rowe. He'd love to be able to pass it off to some of the other pitchers on staff to try and close it down, but the Tide, with just the one hit so far, and nary a whiff of home plate.
Yeah, well, as we talked about with Vawter, just how good she is at limiting free passes. When you have to hit your way around the bases, you got to string 2 or 3 of them together. As an offense, you have to pass it back. Or better yet, it's what consecutiveness, Beth. You have to be able to pass the bat consecutively to your...
My favorite made-up word of Smitty's. I believe Pat calls it old school Alabama. He wants them to hit it the way they have always done in T-Town. But Alana Vawter's making that difficult so far tonight for Stanford. She wants another game too for the likes of Gindelsberger and Steele and Schultz and Young and Caitlin Lim, the other seniors for the Card.
Cahalan making an adjustment, moving up in the box a little bit. She'd been way back. Trying to figure out a way to catch that drop ball before it continues down.
Smitty, I'm not a huge fan of moving that much. Now you'll see her more of a
Mid box.
Yes, just because that's hard. I mean, you're taking feet of difference away.
Well, now you're playing more with your timing.
Yeah.
So I used to do that as well, but with one I knew it was mostly drop, mostly down, and I could split the plate and look from the belt down. But you're right. I mean, different hitters hit well different ways. And
this, by the way, is the part of the batting order to get it going. It's the heart. But instead, Vawter gets the strikeout of Cahalan. 1 down.
And the problem with moving up in the box is that you become more susceptible to the mix of speed and the change of speed. And so Vawter's going to notice that. And look at the way she comes with this changeup. This is a flip change, so it's spinning in the opposite direction. It is moving, which makes to the eye, to the brain, it looks like it's coming at you at 67 miles an hour, when in fact it's coming in at about 50 miles an hour. Big strikeout for Vawter, second of the game.
It was almost like a rise. I mean, it looked like it was rising, even though it was a total changeup. But you're right, that spin.
Yeah, that's why flip changes are so nasty.
Ball. Fifth-year senior Allie Shipman. Allie will be off to med school. Told us she wants to be a surgeon after her playing days.
Well,
Vawter jams her. 1-2. Utes have arrived.
Juju Jimenez leading that group.
They've already played a game.
She's waving to us.
There you go. She left. They left about what, 3:30 this afternoon local time. Freshened up and now they're back.
It's 24 hours for them. I mean, they get to the field, by the way, last night. Think they're going to play. Delays. The game on the field. They find out you're not going to play. You're going to come back tomorrow. They get back to their rooms maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. Come back today. Play Washington. Don't get the win. Now they come back tonight. Where else do you want to be, though? Right. That's where we've been all day, all night.
Beats an alternative. Yes.
Same pitch. Smitty.
2 down.
Again, goes back to back, and not just with this changeup. And it's hard for me to even call it a changeup. I want to call it an off speed, just because when I think changeup, I think it's going to go down. But watch it kind of climb up. It's like an off-speed rise from a hitter's point of view, because you see spin up, and you think this is going to be hard. It's not. It's 57. Another K.
ball.
Yeah, and she's starting to use it more now, second time through the lineup. So actually Prangy, second time through, gets the base hit last inning. And since then, Vawter has just been increasing the amount of changeups she's throwing at Alabama, keeping them off balance.
Bailey Dowling. Back up the middle, backhanded. Mailer over to first. Got her. Wet gem for River Mailer.
River Mailer is a freshman, but she will be the shortstop next year when Emily Young graduates. You want to see why? She's the best defender on this team. You're talking all your momentum going into the outfield. Nails the throw. Alana Vawter loving it.
The numbers for your starting pitchers, the All-Americans Alana Vawter and Montana Fouts. As we head into the 5th, they've only given up 5 hits combined and just the 1 run. And after Vawter got a 1-2-3 inning with a pair of strikeouts, it's back to Fouts, trying to keep this a 1-run game. And how about Vawter picking up the bat here? And will step into the batter's box to hit in the 8th spot in the order.
She's had only 14 at bats the entire season.
This is the designated player spot in the order. She's 0 for 3 in her at-bat so far in the postseason.
She did have that big one, and if you watch her in batting practice, because she'll hit, she's got pop. She's hitting a lot of balls in the gap, a lot of balls over the fence. And she's hitting for a batter that's hitting about 180. So I think that's part of it too, is letting her help herself.
Right at the knees, 2-2. Pops it up, Cahalan at short. 1 down.
Fouts with a good mix on her pitches. More rise and curve than drop. First pitch strike sufficient. 14 of the 17 face. She's thrown that first pitch strike. This is a Stanford team that attacks early. They swing early. They don't walk a lot.
Prangy, 2 down. Back to the top of the order now. Gindelsberger, 3rd time around to face Fouts.
Swing's in heaven right now. This is a little old school pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
And it's been a different kind. There's not a lot of strikeouts at all. Fouts has had 2. And
Yeah. And she's recorded 7 in a row. Pop-ups, jam jobs, just a couple strikeouts, as you mentioned. Back to last 7 outs, all of them have been in the air.
Another one. And that is quick work for Montana Fouts. Another plus for her pitch count. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings on 7 pitches. 1-0 card as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Just 1 hit so far for the Tide. Outstanding pitchers duel, Alana Vawter and Montana Fouts. The 2 All-Americans have had their way thus far. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for Alabama, and a pinch hitter, Lauren Essman, to try and open things up. Just 2 base runners. Bailey Dowling reached on an error in the 2nd. Ashley Prangy a single in the 3rd, and that has been it.
You good? You good?
Vawter just so good at attacking the zone early.
Alabama, one of the 4 national champions in the field. Stanford, one of the 4 looking to win it all for the first time. And both will have to fight their way out of the loser's bracket to do it. And a strikeout of Essman.
Wow.
That's 3 of the last 4.
That is a great screwball. So when you're looking down, I'm really worried about that off speed. Look at the way she's going to stride out to the left, and then she's going to tumble this pitch out. It's over the top spin. It's probably more of a drop ball than a screwball, but the way that she uses her body, she angles it, and so it's just running away from Essman. That is outstanding location.
she's thrown at least a changeup to every batter the last 2 innings. Some twice, 3 times. And you've got to. You're going 2nd time through the order.
getting ahead in the count again, 0-2. Coming up next, our second elimination game, Oklahoma State and Utah. About half an hour after the conclusion of this one here at Hall of Fame Stadium, and then our winner's bracket doubleheader tomorrow. Oklahoma and Tennessee, and then Florida State against Washington. That's a rematch of the 2018 championship series won by the Seminoles. Washington won their national championship in 2009.
Ball.
That off speed stayed low. 2-2. Down, 2 out.
Alabama completely fooled by that changeup right now. They're just not able to see it. The tight spin is hard to pick up.
Yep,
she commits.
Here's Larissa Pruitt, grounded to short her first time up. All 5 of Vawter's strikeouts have come in the last 3 innings. The second time through the lineup. And with that changeup. And just to revisit, it was Vawter against Fouts. In all 3 games, they saw each other last year in the regionals when Stanford won it. And now the two are meeting up again. Another gem for both in the circle tonight.
She talked about in her press conference when she got here that one of her best friends is Tori Nyberg, her pitching coach, and that's who she leaned on. What is it like to pitch here? And there's nothing like having that experience on your staff. I know it's been 20+ years, but Tori's been there.
2001, 2004, they went to the semifinals, both of those trips.
And Tori was known as being only a drop ball pitcher. Relates very well to what Alana Vawter has brought into her days at Stanford and been able to help her really own that pitch.
I think a big part of maturity in pitching is knowing what you are and what you can do and not comparing yourself to what are other pitchers doing, other rise ball pitchers. They have more strikeouts. At the end of the day, an out in the book is an out in the book. If you have a good defense behind you, which Stanford has really done a good job behind their pitching staff, just those 38 errors on the year that we talked about. As a pitcher, you can be confident. Embrace that drop ball and roll the 100 hoppers, as we like to say. Let someone pick it up and throw them out.
Good at bat right now from Pruitt. Just trying to, you see them just trying to battle these pitches off. And remember, this is second time through, so they have a better understanding. I do feel like that's why the off speed is so much more important now.
And again, just no free passes. 1 error, 1 hit given up. 2 base runners for Bama, that's it.
Pop up. Emily Schultz says mine, and it is hers. A 1-2-3 inning. 5 complete, 1-0 Stanford. Thank you, Pam. To the 6th inning we go. And a couple more at-bats aside. 1-0 Stanford over Alabama. Vawter and Fouts tussling tonight. In this elimination game, both have worked 5 innings. 4 hits for Stanford, 1 for Alabama. That's been it.
Well, if you look at the way Stanford scored, you go back to that second inning, it really was old school softball. It was a base hit, a sacrifice, and then a ball in the gap. That sacrifice so important.
Yeah, and the one time they had a chance to score was in the first inning when Emily Young, who's up to bat right now, popped up the bunt. So they had a lead-off double. They would have scored had Taylor Gindelsberger been on third base.
Yeah, there was a Schultz single, then Lim with the sacrifice, and Sydney Steele, the RBI double. That is it. All the scoring tonight, as the Cardinal will send up their 2, 3, and 4 hitters. One, 2 to Young. Another huge crowd on hand for a doubleheader tonight as we send it down to Holly Road.
Well, Emily Young for Stanford, who's at bat right now, might be the most interesting woman in softball. She wants to be a pilot and is studying aeronautics and astronautics at Stanford. Started her career as a hockey player before switching to softball. She just does a little bit of everything and hasn't decided if she's going to be a military pilot or a commercial pilot yet, but I just love that she's got such high dreams.
That's not an easy major, by the way, either. Not that it sounds like it's easy. Aeronautics and astronaut. I took a couple of those classes. Oh, wow. A lot of this team, by the way, they're still in school. Finals actually coming up this next week.
3-2 pitch to Emily. Called strike 3. Well, Fouts and Vawter somehow seeming to get better as the night progresses here. The more pitches they throw.
Fouts worked a lot of outside corner, and this one she comes back to this inside. Really good job by Shipman. Shipman is one of the best in the game at really working the fringes. Great job of framing this pitch, pulling it into the strike zone on the inner half. 3rd strikeout of the game for Montana Fouts. Second looking, excuse me, all 3 looking.
Ball. Her first strikeout since the 2 in the second. Kaneshiro 0 for 2.
Ball, a little bit.
Kaneshiro launches one. Back it goes, and on the track, the catch is made by Jenna Johnson.
This is an amazing, amazing catch. And I think it might have been close to going out had she not made it hit the top of the wall. Watch her react, drop step straight back. This is right at you and knowing where the wall is. She knew where it is. The leap that she makes, I felt like the spin on that ball, it was going to continue to go up and out. Montana Fouts. This game is going to come down to so many great defensive plays because there's been so much contact.
11th batter she's retired in a row. As you said, Beth, getting better as they go on.
And Janet Johnson with the gem. 9 of the last 10 outs for her have been flyouts. Including the pop-up from Kylie Chung her last time up. Slow roller, Cahalan charges and fires. 3 straight 1, 2, 3 innings for Montana Fouts. 1-0 Stanford.
Alana Vawter has just been outstanding tonight. surgical with the way that she has used the corners. The drop ball's been outstanding. She gets that late sharp movement. She's getting Alabama to chase that pitch down. But it's been the changeup as of late that has been a knee buckler. This flip change that spins in the opposite direction that it's moving. Alabama cannot identify it. They have been befuddled by Vawter's changeup. And that drop ball low in the zone, she has just been outstanding. No free passes, just the one hit given up. She's retired the last 7 batters she's faced.
Great defense behind her as well.
Yeah, they have been stellar here at Hall of Fame Stadium in Oklahoma City. Beth Mullins, Michelle Smith, Jessica Mendoza, and Holly Rowe with you tonight. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, Courtney Lyle on the call. Oklahoma State and Utah. Vawter's also struck out 4 of the last 7 she's seen. Here's Kristen White, and then the top. Only 1 hit, only 2 base runners.
See the outfield way pulled in. Obviously the short game that Kristen White has, but she can hit a gap.
It's crazy when you look at the 6.43 stats on White. 90% of her balls on the infield.
How about that one? They haven't been shut out since Stanford did it to them last year in the NCAA tournament. And that was Alana Vawter in the circle that day as well. Oh! 1 and 2.
I think the biggest thing too with the drop, it's hard to launch. It's hard to slug. You're not gonna. So hitters just don't want to swing at it. If I can't do damage with this pitch, I don't want anything to do with it.
You good?
Oklahoma State pulling in. They're on deck against Utah. Winner go home for the Pokes. They were in the national semifinals last year. Chop to third and got her. Sydney Steele, quick out of the glove.
It's been the glove too for Stanford. We talked about Alana Vawter. Gets a lot of contact. How about the defense behind her out in center field? This is back in the first inning, first pitch. Taylor Ginsburg with the diving catch, and Emily Young going back, making a grab look easy, taking away a hit, and then River Mailer going up the middle. Huge grab, some defensive highlights, and that's the difference of this game. It's been the D for Stanford.
And wow, a pitching change here in the 6th. As Vawter departs, will not face the batting order the 3rd time around in the National Freshman of the Year. Canady will come on in relief. The book on Alana Vawter, 5 1/3, just the 1 hit allowed with 5 strikeouts, and this is the new world of softball. The ace comes out, even though she's red hot right now. And the numbers often say don't let a pitcher see the batting order a 3rd time through. They go to Canady, who is completely opposite from Alana Vawter in terms of her style and approach. The freshman out of Topeka, Kansas will try and shut it down. What do you guys think here?
Well, I mean, you call Vawter the ace, but it's ace 1, ace 2. I mean, you look at the numbers of Canady, had a ridiculous freshman year, and they play so well off of each other. We've shown the drop ball of Vawter. This is going to be velocity, high velocity, and up in the zone from Canady.
You like this move?
3rd time through. I think this is all analytics driven, so you're going with the numbers. I do like it.
I would keep Vawter in just because she's rolling. But you got the power hitter at the top, Ashley Prangan here. We're going to see. But I'm all about feel.
Let's see if it breathes some.
I keep Vawter in.
Let's see if it breathes some life into the Alabama hitters. At least they got something different to look at. Now, whether they can keep up with the Flames is another story. Prangy has the lone Bama hit tonight. A single back up the middle.
And this is also how NiJaree was utilized a lot earlier in the season. She was battling a back injury. They had her come into relief.
And has only given up the 1 home run the entire year.
And that's the difference right there. Being able to go to the top of the zone with that rise ball, which is a completely different look than what Vawter was giving Alabama.
One down here in the 6th. There are just 4 outs left for the Tide to roll with. Prangy muscles that one out of play. Canady leading the country in both strikeouts per 7 innings and earned run average coming into this World Series, with a pair of no-hitters.
She missed the All-American qualification by 1 inning. Otherwise, she is a no-doubt first-teamer.
Yep.
Ball.
2-2 to Prangy. The innings were low because she missed a month during the regular season, mid-March to mid-April, nursing an injury. They wanted to make sure that she would be ready for Pac-12 play and the postseason. She took the loss as the starter yesterday against Oklahoma.
She was outstanding in that game.
Kept it close.
Pushed the #1 offense in the nation. And scored until the 6th inning. 3rd time through the lineup, seeing her.
Ashley Prangy right now is not biting at anything up in the zone. Done a good job. 7th pitch of this at bat. For Madeline Cleats.
That's where NiJaree's so good, is that she can throw that rise ball in different planes. So Prangy's laying off that rise. It's a little bit high, but NiJaree can bring it a little bit lower, and you're not quite sure. Is that a rise? Is it a strike? Is it not? You've got to go after it. Prangy good enough to foul it back. The other thing that NiJaree has done so well, she trusts her velocity and her movement. She is not afraid to throw the ball over the white part of the plate, get the swing and miss.
Prangy's been good all year with the rise ball. Let's see if she gets a crack at one here. The 3-2 coming from Canady. Got her with the rise. Couldn't keep up. 2 down.
Well, there's the rise, Beth. And then there's the NiJaree Canady rise. This is 70+ miles an hour. And look at the movement. I mean, it starts in the strike zone. That's waist high, going to how much movement? And I love this look. From behind the home plate in the batter's box, you inside what a hitter sees. And Alana Vawter, her teammate, just got taken out. No one more excited for the freshman.
Janet Johnson fouls one off. And now a chat with Patrick Murphy. How about the scouting report on NiJaree?
NiJaree is so competitive and so good in the circle. Look at the way she uses that rise ball at the top of the zone. 74 miles an hour, the rotation. You're getting underneath of it. It's a 6 to 12 spin. 7 strikeouts against Oklahoma yesterday. Really using the fringes, a curveball in the outer half, the rise ball upstairs. Just so much movement. Late sharp break with that velocity consistently over 70 miles an hour. That's how you become the freshman of the year in the game of softball.
She's drawing comparisons to some of the great rise ball pitchers in history. And oh, what a diving grab! Caitlin Lynn with the catch. And that ends the inning. Another defensive gem as Patrick Murphy going to challenge. He's talking to the umpires right now.
Good look right here. She catches it. I mean, this is one of the most incredible catches. Look at her get underneath this. Make the grab. I thought that was a hit off the bat by far. NiJaree Canady coming into this one, shutting it down.
1-0 game. Stanford with the lead over Alabama as we head to the 7th. Win or go home tonight for the Cardinal and the Crimson Tide. And back to work for Montana Fouts. The fifth-year senior with over 100 wins and 1,000 strikeouts, trying to extend her career for at least one more game. But the Cardinal with the lead on a 2-run, or an RBI double rather, by Sydney Steele back in the 2nd inning. Since then, it's been dominant pitching from Montana Fouts, Alana Vawter, and now NiJaree Canady on in relief for the Cardinal. One last chance for the Tide in the bottom of this inning. 5, 6, and 7 here for Stanford. Schultz had the base hit that started the rally. She is the only one that has touched home plate tonight. Canady awaits as they watch Montana Fouts retire 11 straight. That one will get out of play.
And you think about Fouts, what she did in the season, a 33% whiff rate before the injury. Since the injury, or tonight, 7%. Figuring out a different way to get outs. That's what she talked about after that injury. Might not be the strikeout, might not be the whiff.
Boy, she has done her part tonight, win or lose.
Absolutely.
Playing through the leg injury. Patrick Murphy, when Holly Rowe asked him earlier in the game, told us it wasn't even a choice. Montana wanted the ball, I wanted to give her the ball. And all of Bama Nation expected her to get the ball. For 5 years, the face of the program, trying to keep this a one-run game. 12 in a row retired by Fouts. One down. It will be, by the way, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for Alabama in the bottom of the 7th inning.
We've seen Montana Fouts throw a perfect game on this stage. The best moments of her career have been here in Oklahoma City. But this is right here at the top of what she's battling through. I mean, just as far as message for those watching at home, for the thousands of young girls that are here in the stands looking up to her, is she's 70%, and it's not about having the best stuff, it's how you work through it. And she's showing everyone how you do that right now. The pain that you can tell that she's in, you see her limping when she's moving around. She's doing this not for her, it's for her team.
0-2 pitch. Fitting, it's a rise ball. 2 down.
It's her 4th strikeout of the game. This one on the rise ball. Her other 3 strikeouts earlier have all been looking. She gets underneath this pitch. Great location. Gets Lynn just to swing through it. Look at the way she's going to get extended. Nice spin at the top of the zone. Gets Lynn to chase.
I think, did Patrick Murphy just walk out there and say, do you want to come out? And she said, heck no.
Yeah.
Patrick Murphy, you know, he wants to give her a moment of taking her out on this stage. And she's like, I don't want that moment.
Get out of here, Murph.
I got an out to get. Just efficient tonight, too. 102 pitches.
Deep fly ball. Back it goes. And out of here, Sydney Steele. has driven in both runs tonight for Stanford. Solo shot 2-zip.
Sydney Steele, she had 2 hits against Jordy Ball in Oklahoma. She's got 2 in this one. She had the double to score the first run, and look at this swing, too. I mean, just getting on time. That's the biggest thing. It got out of here so quick.
So close to that one.
Jenna Johnson almost had a chance to catch it.
Yeah, first pitch swinging, just attacking, knowing that Fouts has been pounding the zone early. 3rd home run of the year. How about that?
How about the unsung heroes today? Earlier it was Riley Holtorf for Washington, driving in 3 of their 4 runs, and now Sydney Steele for Stanford, driving in both of theirs.
7-hitter, 7-hole. Put me in, coach. Put me in the 7-hole, because that's what we've seen today out of that spot. Washington and now Stanford.
1-2 here to Eck, who has re-entered in the batting order.
Ball.
Right back to Montana. If this is indeed a Fouts farewell, we tip our cap. 5 fabulous years at Alabama. Can her teammates get it done in the bottom of the 7th to get her another day? Or is this a passing of the baton to the youngster, NiJaree Canady, the National Freshman of the Year, set to take center stage and try to keep the Tide bats quiet? One more at bat for Alabama in the bottom of the 7th, down 2-zip. The numbers for Montana Fouts over the 5-year career for her in Tuscaloosa: number 2 all-time in strikeouts, number 4 in wins with 100 of them. Top 10 in all those categories, highlighted by a perfect game here at the World Series a couple of years ago. And she needs the bats to get at least a couple in to keep this one going. Otherwise, it is the freshman NiJaree Canady on in relief of the All-American Alana Vawter, who will try and seal the deal for the Cardinal. Win or go home tonight for these 2. First pitch, swinging strike to Kenley Cahalan. It is 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. They have mustered just 1 hit and only 2 base runners tonight.
Ball.
1-1. The winner of this one has tomorrow off. They would play an elimination game Sunday afternoon against the loser of tomorrow's Florida State-Washington game. Blowing it by at 71 miles an hour, 2-2.
That's a nice pitch. After laying off a couple of rise balls out of the zone, NiJaree with that velocity, that trust, brings that pitch lower through the zone.
Ball.
Full count. Tide looking for their first base runner since the 3rd inning.
NiJaree wanted that one too. She's a pitcher that will not hide her emotions. You know exactly how she's gonna feel. Not afraid of fist pump, not afraid to lay her head to the side when she's like, is that a strike?
What a moment for these two freshmen. Called strike 3. One down.
Look at those reacts. Hide your emotion. And I'll tell you what, Cahalan made that a tough at bat. She had a great eye. Comes back. Outside corner, but to me, it's about the reaction. I mean, this is a freshman pitching the biggest stage. That's what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Show the emotion.
Allie Shipman. After watching drop balls and change-ups for 5 innings, now they're having to deal with the rise at the eyes.
And the highest velocity here in Oklahoma City.
Oh, 2. Big sister Maddie checking out the action.
Oh, I can just feel her on sides right now.
Yeah.
Always seems to come down to seniors too. Season's on the line.
Would be a last chance for her and Ashley Prangy as well as Montana. Got her. 2 down. Canady has struck out 3 of 4.
Yeah, she is just on fire using that velocity, the location. Look at the spin on this. This is a curveball. She just expands the zone. She has a great ability to get hitters to chase and swing through pitches. 3rd strikeout for Canady.
Final out now for the Crimson Tide. It's Bailey Dowling.
Ball.
Rise ball for a strike, 1-1. It's been pitching and defense all year for Stanford. That's been the story tonight. Their dynamic duo in the circle, the glove work behind them has been stellar this evening. It's been 19 years since they won here. Dowling out to center, and they win again. Stanford stays alive and knocks out Alabama. 2-0 the final. A one-hit combo shutout for Vawter and Canady tonight.
I mean, we knew it was going to come down to a close game and the pitching, but you got to tip your hat to the combination. First of all, the fact that Alana Vawter pitched her best game of the season and then willingly hands it over to NiJaree Canady to close this thing out. And it was the defense that also helped keep them in this game.
Yeah, combined one hitter, no free passes, just making it impossible for Alabama to try to get anything going to get on the board. They retired 13 of the last Alabama hitters in a row to finish off this game.
Stanford wins it, 2-0 the final. All smiles for Canady. For Coach Jessica Allister. Back in the win column at the World Series. And always on the other side, the disappointment and the end of a spectacular career for the Alabama seniors and Montana Fouts. Let's check out our Capital One rewarding performance. And it's actually 2 tonight. The duo in the circle.
Alana Vawter was just outstanding, using that changeup late in the game after she had really hammered the lower half of the zone with a drop, and then turning it over to NiJaree Canady, the freshman of the year, with all that velocity, the rise ball, the emotion to close out the game.
And Holly Rowe has the pair with her. Holly?
Well, I call this a 1-2 punch of magnitude here. You were pitching a shutout here. How were you dealing today? Particularly that drop ball down in the zone was so filthy.
Yeah, I mean, my defense went to work. Starting with the very first play of the game, Taylor Gindelsberger, a diving catch. I knew they were going to be there for me all day. Ali Conestero behind the plate, played outstanding. We were able to scrape a couple across and call it a day.
Okay, how much trust do you have for your coaching staff? You're out here dealing, and they pull you in that moment. How do you have that belief and trust?
I mean, NiJaree's the best pitcher I've ever seen. She's so freaking good. She's so fun to watch. I mean, we kind of knew the plan going into the game. We know how well we work off of one another, and we were able to do that here today.
So, NiJaree, you come in, and it's a 2-run game or a 1-run game at that point. How do you have that composure in that moment to kind of close the door?
Yeah, following Alana, I know she's heavy drop ball, so coming in after seeing a lot of drop balls, I felt confident in my upspin.
Your defense had both of your back at every turn. What's your reaction to seeing these catches in the outfield, these crazy plays?
Yeah, it just makes us feel more confident as pitchers, honestly. I mean, having those girls behind us, it's incredible. It's easier to pitch if they're behind us.
This was a win or go home night. How did you survive to play another day here on this field?
I mean, I think we knew that heading in it. We knew we had to have fun and play Stanford softball, and that's what we did today.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Stanford stays in it. They will play Sunday afternoon against the loser of the Florida State-Washington game coming up tomorrow. And the hugs on the other side for Alabama and their seniors. Their careers come to a close, 2-0 the final. So Stanford, another elimination game coming up on Sunday. Got another elimination game on deck, Oklahoma State, Utah, and then our winner's bracket doubleheader tomorrow that gets underway on ABC at 3 Eastern. 7 Innings Live, the studio show is coming up. And then Kevin, Amanda, and Courtney will take you through the night with the Pokes and the Utes.